The dust has started to settle. People have thought about what happened. From where you sit, from your vantage point, I want to ask you two questions about President Obama. I want to ask you, are you surprised that he was reelected? And regardless of that answer, why do you think Americans reelected the president? And what does it say about us? And what do we need to be thinking about this moment in our history?
Well, I have to tell you, if you dispassionately look at America today, and I say dispassionately because people who are passionate about our country view America one way. People who are not passionate about the American way of life view America in a totally different perspective. The reason that President Obama was reelected was because those people who view America dispassionately outnumbered at the polls those who viewed America passionately. There were a lot of Christians who didn't vote for Mitt Romney because they felt, well, he's a Mormon, and therefore I can't vote for him and I can't vote for Obama, so I'm just going to stay home. There were a lot of people who perhaps felt like they've been taught, a lot of, particularly young people, have been taught somehow that it is wrong to amass wealth in America, and so they felt, well, we can't vote for this man who's a multimillionaire, so we'll vote for this, quote, man of the people. And, of course, there were Hispanics and African Americans who are lined up, in many cases, not all, but in many cases, lined up to receive what the government gives and promised, and as a result, the overwhelming majority of those people who were dispassionate about America voted Barack Obama back into office, and no, unfortunately, I was not surprised. Disappointed, but not surprised.
Ben, we've had Star Parker on before. Of course, her testimony, she's an African-American woman, and she's formerly a welfare queen is what she called herself. But she talks about, and others have talked too, I'm sure you've written on this, the state of the black family today. Do you think that government welfare assistance, which was started to help the black community and minorities in general, has actually turned out to be a negative force?
Well, let me ask you a question. Back in the day when we had strict segregation and black families were not on the government welfare, there was almost a total lack of African-American children being born out of wedlock. I mean, the percentage was so low, probably not even to show up on statistics. Today, we have over 70% of African-American children being born out of wedlock. Now, you tell me why back in segregation, when there was no government assistance to African-Americans, we had a almost totally non-existent situation, and now today we have 70% or more of black children being born out of wedlock. Now, why do you think that's happening?
Well, if I say it, I'm a racist, though.
Okay, well, don't say it from a racist perspective. Say it from a purely...
Okay, I'll say it. No, I'm kidding. Not everybody. Not everybody calls you a racist, but the liberals do. If you even bring this subject up, is you had incentive for minority women to have babies out of wedlock because they get government checks for the babies that they have out of wedlock. So I remember this happening in college. I was working with a black young lady. And this is true. This is human nature. This has just happened to happen in the black community. It could happen in the whites and the Hispanics, whatever. It's human nature. When you're incentivized by the government not to get married, you're not going to. If you have no really moral foundation for it, you know what I'm saying? If you don't have any conviction about it, just to say financially, I get money, more money if I don't get married and have babies illegitimately. So,
exactly. As a matter of fact, there is almost a government prohibition against getting married.
How do we change that, though? Huh? How do we change that? I mean, is that something do you think the government's going to have to do, or is the African-American community is going to have to deal with that itself to reverse that trend? Or what? And it's happening in the Hispanic and the white community as well, just not to the extent. I think 40% of somewhere close to 40% of whites now are born out of wedlock.
Yes, and considering the size of the population, the differential population, that is a huge number.
Probably more whites total number born out of wedlock than blacks.
Yeah.
Just the percentage is higher. But So how do we reverse this? Because
it seems like almost a tidal wave.
It's destroying us. I mean, it's
Yeah.
We can talk about any other thing you want to, but if you destroy the family unit, then you're going to destroy a country.
That's right.
Well, it is really relatively simple. Lenin said, if you give me a child for 8 years, he'll be a socialist forever. And that is basically what has happened to our society. There's no accident that the people who have become our educators. Can we just go back to you remember the 60s, back during the days of the free love and the sit-ins and
Yes.
the hippies and all this kind of stuff? I don't know whether people ought to remember that, but let me just tell you what happened. Back in the day when this was going on, when it started to play out, the conservative students went into business, went into the economy, and started to become successful in business. The liberal types, the one who were opposed and who thought America was on the wrong track, went into media and education. So as a result, today, the people that we have running the educational institutions and the people we have running our media are people who were anti-American when they were in college and have consistently stayed that, and that's where they are now, which is why you find almost invariably negative commentaries on all these major networks about America. You find them supporting Barack Obama, and you find in the education system, they are not teaching our children biblical principles anymore. In fact, they're doing everything they can to get biblical principles out of education. So we now have a generation of children, what does the Bible say? They knew not God.
Hey Ben, where can people read your columns?
They can read it on WorldNet Daily or benkinchlow.com, either one.
Kinchlowr. Thanks to Ben. We didn't have long enough. We wanted to get into more topics.
Ben, we need to have you back again. Talk some
Well,
more.
invite me, and I'll be there till you have to say, no, there's enough, Kinchlow, enough already.
Okay.
We'll have you back. Thanks, Ben.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
All right. Ray Comfort coming up after the break. If you don't get us on the radio for the second hour, get us on the internet at afr.net, or on your smartphone.